Okay, I'm trying again. Welcome, everybody. Hi, everybody. Okay, let's get set up here. Hi, everyone. Just gonna wait for a few folks to join. Hopefully, I will have some folks join. This is my very first live video, so please bear with me. I'm just beginning. I'm just starting out, so I'm going to make lots of mistakes. Might be a little sloppy, but I'm going to do my very best. Hi, Susie. Welcome. Just waiting for a few people to join. Hopefully, I'll have some people join. It doesn't look like the comments are working for some reason, but Susie, if you want to try leaving me a comment, are you here from the Creative Bag Makers group? I'm really curious. It's so many subscribers come through that group over the last couple days. So I thought I'd hop on here and do my very first live. All right, so I've prepared some supplies here. Well, Susie, I'm glad you're here. Might just be you and I. Oh, Kathy. Hi, Kathy. How are you? Welcome. Looks like my comments are working now. Okay, so this is my very first time. Please bear with me. I have a little bit of stuff going on with my throat. I've been sick over the last few days, but I really wanted to get this video out for those of you who are excited to learn about cutting fabric with your Cricut cutting machine. I have on this table, which is normally my sewing table, my Cricut Maker 3. I apologize for those of you who have Brother Scan & Cuts or the Silhouette machine. I do not have those machines. However, hopefully some of this stuff will apply to you as well. Some of the tips and tricks, some of the supplies. I know the mats are different, programs are different, but the basics should be the same. So I wanted to mention to any of you that are here that in the description, I have provided you the link to my Cricut my Cricut SVG files for this project. Today, I am going to be making just a little zipper pouch. I'm going to at least cut out the zipper pouch. We'll see how this goes. If anybody's interested in seeing me actually sew it up, I'm sure you've also you're all really experienced bag makers in this group, and you know how to do a simple zipper pouch. But I have fabric for my lining. I have my main fabric, and I have interfaced this fabric. The reason I've done that is these Cricut washable fabric pens are light blue in color, and they will not show up on a dark background. That's the only downfall. It might show up a little bit on this fabric, as you can see. Let's see if you can see. It's definitely lighter. They may show up on that fabric, but if I'm going to interface already, I might as well just do it before I cut this project out. So in this project, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out my pieces for the zipper pouch, and I'm also going to mark the box corners with the washable pens, and I'm going to mark all my centers on the pouch as well with the pens. So then you're done. You don't have to do that while you're sewing, which is really handy. So let's see, do we have anybody else here? Yeah, we've got a few of you watching. Yay! I'm so excited. Okay, and a few of the other supplies. So these are Cricut water, what do they say? Washable fabric pens in blue. I think they only come in blue. It is possible Cricut has made some other colors. If they have, I don't have them. I have the blue washable fabric pen. I have tested these. They do wash out of your fabric. And sometimes with these projects, the markings, if they're on the wrong side of your fabric, it doesn't really matter anyways. So that's what I will use in my Cricut machine to mark my fabric. I also have a rotary blade. So Cricut has a rotary cutter blade. I have two of these. They look like this in the package when you buy them. I purchased this from Michael's. All of these products, except for these washable marker pens, I could not find these at Michael's. I believe I purchased them on the Cricut website. They are also available on Amazon.com. And if you're interested, I can put a link in the description after I'm done recording this video, and for the pens or any supplies that you might need. Okay, so we have our rotary blade, we have our pens, I have my Cricut machine. The fabric, let me just talk about this fabric. I was just walking around in Dollar Tree and looking through the craft aisle as one always does, and they had these little rolls of fabric, and I thought, they're probably really crappy quality, but let me pick up a couple. They're only $1.50. I'm in Canada, by the way, so everything in Dollar Tree is $1.50. So I picked them up and said, you know, for little pouches or whatever, I'll give them a shot. Well, look how pretty this fabric is. And it's actually a really decent quality cotton. It's not thin cotton. I'm super impressed. So we're going to see how that goes. Yay, Dollar Tree. I know they don't always stock these in the craft aisle. However, if you get lucky and you happen to see a little box, they sometimes have some cute fabric prints. And I think if this works out, I'm going to go and pick up a few more because it had some really cute prints. This is also Dollar Tree. This was not as nice quality as the print, but it is definitely thinner. But it's my lining, and I've interfaced the back of both of these pieces. Okay, and last but not least, I have a large size 12 by 24 Cricut fabric cutting mat. Now, the fabric grip mat is what Cricut recommends. I have not tried to cut fabric on any other kind of mat. This has worked great for me. I highly suggest getting this 12 by 24 mat because you can put a larger piece on the mat. You can get the 12 by 12 mat, and if you're doing really itty bitty projects, great. But it made more sense to me to buy the larger mat anyways. I know there are a lot of patterns out there for quilters as well, where you can cut out a lot of components for your quilt blocks on one of these sheets. You can put multiple pieces of fabric, different prints on one sheet. And if you plan it well in Cricut, then you would be able to print whatever you want. Okay, so are we ready to get started? Let's get started. So I'm going to open up my Cricut machine. I moved it over here to my sewing table, so I had to unplug some things. Let's hope it's going to work for me, but it should be okay. Now, I do want to also mention with the Cricut, you need to make sure you have enough space in the front of the machine and the back of the machine, especially with these larger mats. We need to make sure there's enough clearance for this mat because the mat will pass all the way through the machine and we don't want it knocking things over. So I am actually going to move a few things off of my table. Pardon me. See me bending all over the place, but I don't want my mat knocking all my precious little notions and things, or my coffee. That would be terrible. I don't want it knocking off my table. So I'm just going to move a few of these things. Okay. And I'm going to pull my Cricut machine up a little bit for you all. Now, the other thing I should mention before I get started with this is I have pre-cut the fabric pieces, so my lining and my main fabric. The main fabric I cut at 12 inches. The lining I cut at 10 and a half or 11 inches. The file that I offered in the description of the video with my Cricut SVG files where you can play along and cut this out. The pouch is a 10 by 8 cut. So it will turn out a little bit smaller than that once we sew it up, but just make sure that you have the correct width of fabric before and interface it. I highly suggest interfacing before we cut because what we're going to do when we place this on the mat is place it pretty side down. So right side down, and the Cricut is going to cut here. It does a much better job if you're cutting an interfaced fabric. You don't have to interface your fabric to cut it out. It's just going to prevent any fraying or little threads from flying around. So I like to interface before I cut. That's not always the best for everybody. It can be a little bit wasteful. However, I always use my scraps of interfaced fabric anyways for other projects. Okay, so first thing I need to do is I'm going to open up clamp A, and I hope you can all see this. Let me see if I can get you in a little bit closer here. Pardon me while I shuffle you around a little bit. I'm just going to bring you in a little bit. Okay. All right, so all the Cricut pens have a little arrow on it. I hope you can see this. And when we put them into the clamp, we put it with the arrow facing forward. Now, another thing I like to do, this is a brand new pen. I haven't used it before. I like to prime my pen. So I'm going to find a little piece of paper and just make sure that the ink is flowing. Make sure you put your cap on the top of the pen so you don't lose your cap. You don't want these pens drying out. They will last you a long time if you keep them well. Okay, so I'm pushing that. Push it all the way down. You'll hear a little click, and I'm putting it into clamp A. And then I am going to put the rotary blade in clamp B. So right now I have my, right now I have just my regular sharp blade that I cut other things with. I cut my labels out with this in the clamp. I'm going to replace that with the rotary blade. Now, the rotary blade is different. Let's take a look at the difference. And I'm sorry for those of you who've used a Cricut before, you probably know this already, but the rotary blade, and there's a couple of other blades like a scoring wheel and an engraving blade, have a different housing on the top. Your regular cutting blade looks like this, and there's a series of blades that have this housing. You cannot get away without, I mean, there may be some Amazon knockoffs for these blades. They're not super cheap. They're probably about $50, but I've never had to replace this. I do have an extra just in case, but they had a 2-for-1 sale, so I picked up 2. Anyways, the blade goes into this clamp with the housing plastic piece on the front facing forward, and it will sit in the machine. And we'll clamp that in. All right. So I have my fabric pen in here. I have my rotary blade pen in here. And now I need to load my mat. So I'm going to peel off the paper, the plastic off of my mat. And I'm going to cut my main fabric first. So to do this, let me see if I can pull this in the right direction for you. All you need to do is line up your fabric on the mat in the grid lines as straight as you can and give it a little press. Now this is right side down with the interfacing side facing up. And I have my little, I don't know what this is called, squeegee tool. Anyways, I'm just going to push this fabric down, make sure it's stuck to this mat really well, because we don't want that coming up when we cut our pieces out. Now, I will actually do another little video about how to design your own SVGs in Cricut Design Space, how to make your own pattern pieces. So sky's the limit. You can create any shape using the shapes function in Design Space. You can use the pen functions to make any markings you want on the pattern pieces. That's really handy when you want to have placement for magnetic snaps. You can draw that on where you're going to place your magnetic snaps. If there are any other markings, placement markings that you need on your fabric, you can do that as well. Okay, so I have my main fabric set up, and I'm going to pull up Design Space and try to show you. Okay, now I know I can screen share for these lives. I haven't quite figured out how to do that yet while recording from my phone. So I'm going to pull up the file. Now, the project details, I don't think I named this file. Sorry about that if you are using it. All I'm going to do is open the project and click Make It. And it's going to open up in Design Space. Now, I do need to set up my mat because Design Space has defaulted to my 12 by 12 mat. So I want to tell Design Space, no, I'm not using a 12 by 12. I'm using a 12 by 24 mat. And now it's going to be 2 mats for my fabric. Let's see if we can zoom in here. Okay, so it has my 2 main pieces on the mat. It's going to cut and it is going to make my markings. So I have labeled these pieces main 1 and main 2, I believe. I have marked my corners where I'm going to cut the fabric for the box corners. And I've also marked my centers on top and bottom for both pieces. So I have this all set up. The next thing we need to do is tell Cricut what type of material, what machine. So it says select an accessory, and I'm just using my iPad here. So Maker 3, and I'm going to click next. And then I'm going to select my materials. So this will be, I'm going to say cotton. You can do a search at the top. So I am, there's several options for cotton. It says light cotton, peak cotton, Pima cotton, medium fabrics, light cotton 3 layers, light cotton 2 layers, cotton, medium fabrics like cotton bonded or cotton bonded. Now, this, because I have interfaced it already, I am going to choose a medium fabric like cotton bonded. Now, if you were concerned about wanting to make sure that your, if you have a directional fabric and you wanted to make sure that it was set up correctly, Cricut will tell you to mirror or make sure mirroring is turned on. This is kind of a directional fabric, but I have it placed in the correct direction, so it shouldn't, and I'm only cutting out rectangles, so it should not matter. But if you are cutting a piece and you want to make sure that a specific design element is in a specific place, make sure you're mirroring your fabrics as appropriate. Okay, so now it's saying make sure your mirror is turned on, materials placed bonded side up, pressure. I always choose more, just to be sure that my pieces are going to be cut out correctly. And then you can check this, remember material settings. So if you're going to be doing a lot of this, just set it up right now, make it easy for yourself so that you can have those settings all set up for you. And then it says load tools and mat. All right, so loading my tools and my mat. We're going to make sure things are not going to get knocked off my table here. I suppose that will be fine. All right, so to load our mat, we just need to make sure that we are lining up the mat. There's 2 little guides on the side, kind of like any regular printer, alignment guides. And we want to make sure we get the mat in there nice and straight. And I'm going to bring my Cricut up a little bit closer because I really want to make sure that this mat is going to go into the machine correctly. So do another double check, make sure that your fabric is stuck down properly. Mine's pretty good. Okay. And once you're confident that you have this stuck in here straight, you're just going to hit this flashing button. So for me, it's the go button, the load button. I just want to mention that Cricut does not sponsor me. All these products I've purchased myself, and I just really enjoy doing this. Okay, so it's telling me there was an issue communicating with my Cricut machine. It could just be because of my Wi-Fi connection. So I'm just going to go next. We're going to start this again. Take this out. Come on, Cricut. Well, let's turn it off. I'm going to turn it back on. I probably need to do a really good cleaning on this machine and a calibration. I've been using it quite a bit, but okay. So I'm choosing my maker again. I'm choosing next again. Good review, I suppose. And of course we're on a live, so I can't re-record. Come on, Cricut. Okay, next. Oh, Cricut. It could be my internet connection. Please let me know in the comments if you're experiencing any issues with not being able to see me, or maybe my internet connection is slow. And we will wait. Sorry about that, everybody. Let me try this one more time. Come on, Cricut. Make a liar out of me here. This really is a great machine, I promise. Just going to set this all up again because okay. Next. It's telling me nope. Nope, your machine does not want to do this. Oh dear. Sorry to everybody who's here. Alright, I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to try closing some things, making sure that my connection is strong. Okay. Let's do the machine setup again. Nope. Okay. I'm so sorry about that. Hey, let's try this again. It's never a good sign when that light goes blue. I don't like that. And if we continue to have problems this way, I may actually just try and load this with my laptop, and that's probably... Let's try that, because I can connect my laptop directly. I'm going to go out of the shot for a second here, but bear with me. Cricut really likes an actual connection to the laptop often, and you're going to see me come under my desk and my table. I need to plug this laptop in so it doesn't die on me. Pardon me. Okay. and we're going to plug this guy in. Oh, Cricut. Okay. Now you're going to listen to me, right, Cricut? Yes. You're going to listen to me now. Alrighty. So while we wait, I'd love to hear where all of you are from. How did you get here? Did you just recently subscribe? I'm in Northern Ontario in Sudbury. It's 2:16 p.m. here, so I'm curious to know if we have anybody who's first thing in the morning. All right, so I'm going to open up Cricut Design Space on my laptop and send this project through on my laptop. You can do it either way. I usually use my iPad. I think Cricut maybe is not so happy with me when I do that, but okay. And of course, I haven't used my laptop for Cricut Design Space in a while, and it wants me to download the newest version, so I'm doing that. I thought this might be a really super quick video. We're already at 32 minutes and we haven't cut yet. So I don't think I'm going to sew the pouch up in this live, but I will record myself doing so. So if you're new to bag making or new to sewing in general, it's a really quick and easy project. So if you have a Cricut, I have given you the files. They're free for you to use. Do as you wish with them. If you want to modify them, change them up, you can do whatever you want. And I'll record myself sewing that little zipper pouch together in another video. I do also have some ideas. I would like to do a video on creating your own zipper lays. I have made some files for zipper overlays and strap ends and zipper tabs. So if you're interested in seeing that video, I'd love to make that one as well. Okay, well, I think, are you happy yet, Cricut? So I know that a lot of people have frustration with these Cricut machines. If they don't always work the way you want them to work, but I haven't had any trouble until now, of course, because I'm doing a live. Of course, that's when I'm going to have trouble, right? Yeah, it is not having it at all. Yeah, okay. If anybody has any tips or tricks for me, I'd love to hear them. Okay. Oh, Cricut. Let's go. Okay. This is really boring. I'm so sorry. I'm very, very sorry. I don't mean to be silent here, but this is really annoying. I don't know if I even have any of you still here. I might just be talking to myself. I'm such a newbie at this. I have no idea if anybody's even here watching. But that's okay. Just gonna do my thing here, and you're still here. Thanks for staying and sticking this weirdness out. And if I can't get this working, then I am going to just have to redo another video. Okay, I think I got it. It's installing the new version. Time for coffee. Aha, okay, I'm in business now. Of course. There we go. Okay, here we go. My stuff. Okay, let's try this with my laptop connected. And hopefully this will be a little more successful. All right, so 12 by 24 mat. This is difficult to do when you don't have a mouse. Okay, 12 by 24 mats. Beautiful. Mat 1 and mat 2. Okay, I have my material selected. I'm going to give it a little more pressure. All right, Cricut, let's do this. And success. It is going to happen. Okay, I feel like I just conquered the world here. Okay, here we go. Cricut's gonna do its thing. It should be awesome. So apparently Cricut really, when you're cutting fabric, likes the desktop app better than it does a mobile device. All right, so it's going to draw all my markings on the fabric first. And once that's done, it is going to cut out my pieces for me. And the pen's doing a really nice job. You'll be able to see that quite clearly. This is super handy if you have a lot of complicated pieces that you need to label. Really handy to keep everything in order, especially when you're doing a lot of pieces, and it will mark them all for you and you can keep your project organized. Okay, it's getting ready to cut. It's done all the markings with the pen, and now we are cutting out our piece. We're going to measure our mat again. All right, it's cutting out the second piece. So this is super successful. It looks great. Fabric is staying put where it needs to. I was going to give you really super accurate cuts. I know when I cut patterns out by hand or with my rotary cutter on my mat, there's always some wonkiness. Doing it this way is really super accurate. All right, so let's pull it out of the mat. So you can see here, it has made all the markings. So I have my top and bottom centers, I have my box corners, and I've labeled this piece main 1, and the same thing for the bottom piece main 2. So I'm going to pull this off the mat gently. It's going to take my extra fabric. Okay, so there's my 2 pieces, and I still have a nice little chunk that I can use for zipper tabs or whatever. But they're cut nice and straight too. Okay, so piece 1 looks beautiful. Piece 2, beautiful. Now, all I need to do is place my lining piece down exactly the same way that I did for my main piece. Line up the edges. Apply a little bit of pressure, make sure it's sticking properly. And Cricut's already got this loaded, ready, waiting for me to just load this second mat in. This little flashing light is Cricut telling me, yep, we're ready to go. Put your second piece in. So could you cut this out with a rotary cutter quite quickly? Yes, absolutely. Can you cut these 4 pieces out with a rotary cutter, mark all your centers, mark your box corners, and have pieces labeled this quickly? Maybe not. When this is working correctly, it goes very fast, and you get super, super accurate cuts. And that makes for a nicer project every time. Okay. On to the lining. Now, the first project I ever used my Cricut to cut out was a wallet pattern by Blue Calla. And my goodness, I have a tutorial for that wallet. And do you think I can remember the name of it? I'm so sorry. If you know the name of it, let me know in the comments. That piece, those pieces, she offers SVG files, and a lot of designers now are offering SVG files for their patterns. And there's a lot of curvy pieces, things that you want to be really accurate. And I can cut that wallet out in 10 or 15 minutes. It's beautiful. So that's what got me hooked on using the Cricut to cut out pattern pieces. Not every pattern you won't be able to cut out every pattern with your Cricut. There are size limitations. There's always going to be a size limitation of 12 by 24. However, for bag makers, there's quite a few bags that you can make that are within those size limitations. Also, if you want to design your own pieces, it's quite easy to do in Design Space. So spend some time learning Design Space. It's totally worth it. I whipped up this little pouch with the markings and everything on it for all of you in maybe 10-15 minutes. So totally worth it. And if you're interested in seeing me sew up this little pouch and you've never done that before and you'd like some guidance, maybe I'll come back on live tonight and sew up the pouch. So let me know in the comments if you're interested in that. I'm happy to do it. It's Saturday. I have no plans. My hubby's going off to work. But if you'd like to see me sew that up, I'm happy to do that. I like hanging out with all of you. So sorry. I am so sorry. All right. Lining. Perfect. Oh, that's terrible. I am so very sorry about that. There's nothing worse than somebody coughing in your ear on a live. And so lining 1, lining 2. So I have all my pieces ready to go. They're all marked. All my centers are marked. And it was super easy once we got it going with the Cricut machine. Cricut was being temperamental, but I hope you enjoyed this. Oh boy, I am so very sorry. I am going to sign off for now. I really hope you enjoyed this project, and if you have ideas, things you would like to learn about the Cricut, please let me know. I would love to hear what you're interested in seeing and would love to make some videos for you. Also, a huge, huge, huge shout out to all of you in the Creative Bag Makers group. I'm so grateful for the support that you all showed me over the last few days. Absolutely incredible. You had me bawling my eyes out the other night. So thank you so much. And if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe, and thank you so much for supporting a little tiny little channel like mine. Have a great, great day.